Jadi Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera and good morning lah ya to everyone. So Alhamdulillah we can do our second session for this morning. And for this second session, allow me to first introduce our special guest. We are very fortunate that we have with us Professor Emeritus Tan Sri Dato Sri Dr. Sharifah Hapsah Syed Hassan Shahabuddin. So Professor Tan Sri Sharifah is actually our mantan Vice Chancellor. She was our previous Vice Chancellor from 2006 till 2013 in UKM. And Tan Sri has actually made many contributions with institutional, national and international impact since the early 1980s. Especially in the area of medical education amongst it, whilst serving in the Faculty of Medicine, UKM, Higher Education Management at the Ministry of Higher Education, and she also does a lot of advocacy and gender equality work and program as the President of the National Council of Women's Organisation, NCWO. So Tan Sri's special ability is that she has blended both her professional and academic career in medical and higher education with her passion for gender inclusion issues and children's development. And as a member of the Permata Council previously, she has made unique contributions and impactful for the advancement of education for women, children and community at large. Tan Sri Sharifah has multifaceted interests, whereby she has had appointments into high-level committees and commissions. For example, she was appointed by His Majesty the King to serve in Suhakam and Malaysian Commission for the Integrity of Enforcement Agencies. In 2011, she was appointed as member of Independent Review Panel for the National Education Blueprint. And in 2017, she was appointed as a member of the Vice Chancellors for a non-RU selection committee. So she was also a founder secretary of Association for Medical Education in the Western Pacific region in 1988. Tan Sri Sharifah is a much sought after person, and she has been advisor, consultant and speaker for organizations such as UNESCO, WHO, ILO, UN Commission on the Status of Women, as well as for other universities. So last year, we were most fortunate that we already had Tan Sri as a speaker for our very first PPD postgrad webinar, which was in December last year, and that was held specially for the new intake of master students. And this year, in fact, Tan Sri continues to be recognized, where she was awarded the Tokoh Wanita Hari Pekerja QPEX 2021. So for this particular webinar, Tan Sri, we actually have the focus is on the final year students as opposed to last year, but we do also have some second year and third year clinical master students, right? So Tan Sri has actually a very long CV, but I've just summarized it, and I believe Tan Sri will be speaking to us on a very interesting topic, which is to look forward, to look back, to look around and to look inwards, right? So Tan Sri, the floor is all yours. Silakan.
Thank you, Prof. Zarina. You will let me host now because I want to share my screen. Before I start, may I know what's the composition of the audience? How many men and how many women?
Tak check lah, Prof.
Tak check. Is it 50-50? Is it about 50-50? No.
Postgraduate banyak perempuan.
Oh, maybe more women.
I don't know lah untuk yang attend ni. Let me just
I see. I should have added a few more slides. Never mind. I'll just speak off the cuff. Okay, I'm going to share my slides.
Okay, silakan Tan Sri.
I have to move this here so I can see my slides. Okay. Slideshow. Okay, am I on slideshow now? Not yet. Okay, I'm on slideshow. Oh, slideshow is so big. Okay. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum and good morning to all of you. I know you've had a very busy morning. I hope you had a cup of coffee and walked around a bit because Prof. Zarina tells me we're going to go on until 1 o'clock. It's a long session. So we meet on the topic of leadership. But this time I thought I'll make it more, you know, more youngish. So I changed the title and said, oh, to look forward, you have to look back, you have to look around, and you have to look inwards. Now, and this is almost like saying, oh, you have to look at the future, you have to look back and learn from history or from the past, you have to look around and assess your situation. And then you have to look inside yourself, assess your capabilities. Yeah, that's basically what I meant by the title. Okay, my slides can be seen by all, yeah? It's not hidden.
Boleh nampak Tan Sri.
Boleh
Yes.
nampak, yeah? Okay.
Yes.
Now, I'm not going to define leadership because many people define it in many ways. I'm just going to give you a few quotation that pertains to the title of my ceramah today, okay? Look forward refers to what Mahatma Gandhi said, who leaders have the capacity to translate vision into reality and who must become the change we want to see. That means they're far-sighted and they're willing to meet the challenges. Yeah. And look back, I quoted from the 1905 George Santayana, who is a philosopher and a writer. He said, those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it. But actually this saying is ascribed to Winston Churchill more, but actually Winston Churchill in 1948 addressed the House of Commons and he paraphrased Santayana. And Churchill said, those who fail to learn from history are condemned to repeat it. So remember, yeah, look forward, look back, and then look around. Look around, quote this economist, Galbraith, he's American-Canadian. He actually deplored very much the attention given by government to just wealth. And he said, no, the government ignores the real issues of society. So he said, all of the great leaders have had one characteristic in common. If you're great, if you just concentrate on wealth, you're not great, according to him. Yeah, it was the willingness to confront unequivocally the major anxiety of their people in their time. I won't pay you if you guess right. What would it be in our time now? It would be COVID-19 pandemic and economic collapse. It's the leader who can sense this, and this is our anxiety right now. Leadership means a leader who will confront this. Yeah, this is our anxiety. So far, I don't know how we are doing. Okay, of course, we've changed third government now, right? So you can say something about it. And Truman said, men make history and not the other way around. And progress occurs when courageous, skillful leaders seize the opportunity. They see it and they change things for the better. Yeah? Since I said COVID-19, what kind of leaders? So you know the impact of COVID-19. The health, I don't have to go into it because you all know it, you know. You see the death, you see the mobility, and then the FTTIS issues, so many issues in this FTTIS control issues. Then you know our healthcare system has broken down. The capacity, we have exceeded the capacity. And of course, the workers, the front line, the burnout and the psychosocial impact on them. Yeah. Then, of course, the economy and the businesses, very devastating. Yeah, drop in earnings of companies, loss of jobs, and of course, you get the poverty, the malnutrition, and in this, if the leadership is smart, they will look at financial and food support for the people for recovery, because these are the main problems, anxiety of the people. Yeah. And now, of course, now we see psychosocial beginning. Even at the outset, we saw the psychosocial effects already. You know, the women were with stress. You know, now they have the added burden of care. Lockdown, they have to take care of the children, take care of the elderly, and they lost their jobs. Then domestic violence increased, and you get anxiety, frustration, anger. And I see this on internet, you know, in the social media. People for no reason get angry and bash up cars, and of course suicide is also on the rise. Yeah, and also children being out of school. All this is a cause of stress. Yeah, a lot of stress in the people nowadays. And of course we have insufficient counseling services. Then the governance, I don't have to say much about it, you know, very weakness in our governance. And that is mainly due to political instability. Yeah? And our lifestyle has also changed. We're now very dependent on ICT. So those who have no inequalities, there's a gap. The ICT gap is going to be worse. Rural areas, poor people who do not have access, they become worse off. So actually, it's aggravated the existing inequalities, including gender inequality, yeah, and poverty. So in this kind of COVID pandemic, this kind of situation, the leadership that we've been used to, we cannot survive. We need new type of leadership to emerge. Yeah? And I left that out because I forgot that there are a lot of women. The new leadership that is very suitable for this kind of situation is said to be characteristic of women leadership. More caring, more personal, interpersonal, collaborative, sensitive to differences, very teliti, you know, detail oriented, and so on. So I should have added that slide. I'm sorry I didn't. I know the slide is somewhere. Okay, now that's COVID. But in healthcare is also changing because technology is going to go on. It's going to continue to dominate now, especially with the ICT. Yeah. In fact, they say 40% of today's jobs by 2030 will be 50-50, will be gone, will not be gone, you know, threatened by 2030. And more than 85% of the jobs that we will be seeing are not yet invented, and you will be seeing them. Yeah, even with COVID-19, we have seen new types of jobs emerging already. Yeah, and our practices will be shifting. The practice settings and type of care, we are now moving to home-based care for COVID. It's going to stay. Home quarantine, it's going to stay. It needs new types of people and needs new training, even for us who are staying at home to look after these people. Needs new set of SOPs, for example. And then there's automation. And when there's automation, there's new human-machine frontiers, you know, the face-to-face between machine and human will be different. And so digital technology will be used more and more. You find it in contact tracing. You see MySejahtera, we're very dependent on our MySejahtera. And of course, ordering food, this, that, the other, we are very, very ICT dependent, even for school and for work. Yeah, remote monitoring. And then human skills, even though we have machines, even important now, communication, where it is very important, for example, about vaccination. You need these human skills, yeah? And of course, the roles that will leverage on the emerging technologies, some of you may want to leave medicine and go into this because there's more money in artificial intelligence, big data specialists, in human-machine interaction designers, information security, process automation, etc., etc., etc. Cloud computing, cloud computers, cloud computing experts. That's number one now, actually, cloud computing. Yeah, and in this environment, you cannot work alone. So you have to work within what is called an innovation system. We have to network, we have to collaborate with others so that we can continue to make a lot of adjustments, a lot of innovations for the new setting in healthcare. Yeah? Don't think it's going to be like the old days, no more. So even before COVID, you can see, the shift has been happening. Now, residential and home healthcare services actually is giving a lot of the employment. 60% increase in employment is in that sector. And hospital jobs, even though it's now still the biggest employer, that is shifting also to office and clinics. And so you see home-based care for COVID-19 patients, home quarantine. So that's becoming more and more care of the elderly and so on, That's even vaccination, they have to do mobile, see outpatient lab and other ambulatory care services. A lot of mobile teams are going out to do all this, yeah? And that includes the laboratory tests and so on. And it will continue to be like this. So we have to, this is the kind of scenario that we have. So in this changing environment, what kind of specialists do we need? You are all thinking about your specialty, but please remember, you are going on this journey in a changing environment. So you must learn to collaborate, learn to participate in the change, learn to anticipate the change. I'm telling you some now, but I'm not telling you everything. Things are moving so fast, yeah? And this change that's happening, as specialists, you have to lead it, not just participate. You have to lead it if you are going to be a top specialist. And how do you lead? You have to make innovations. You have to try new things. You have to show new ways of doing things. Oh, it may even be SOP, but it may be a new treatment. It may be many things, but you have to lead it so that you can do three things. You can provide services, safe and ethical. Then you can help in the education of a new talent pool for the new environments. And of course, you participate in research for new ideas and technological advancement, particularly now. It doesn't have to be in the solely medical field as such. It can also be in the ICT side. Some of you I know are very interested in ICT. In fact, I think you be better ICT, IT specialists. There are many like that in the faculty, yeah. And but while we are doing all this, always bear in mind that when you give care to your patients, it is the one that meet the health needs of society. Always remember that, yeah. And of course, if you work within the environment of Malaysia, it is Malaysia. But it could be local, like, oh, in Sandakan, what is it? It might be different from, say, in Johor Bahru, yeah. So it can be at many levels. Okay. Now look inward. Look inward. I want to quote my favorite poet. She passed away a couple of years ago. Maya Angelou. She said, to know is to comprehend. Do you know? Do you comprehend in this moment who or what you serve? Oh dear me, I need water. And I cannot tell anyone to bring me water because nobody is here with me. Can you give me 5 minutes?
Sure, Tan Sri. Okay. While we are allowing Tan Sri for a short break, okay, please do type in your questions as we go along. And I think we're talking about leadership qualities, right? A little bit about governance here and how to cope in the fast changing world, yeah, because as you all know now, we are facing COVID. Well, the entire world is facing COVID. So I think it's all about being innovative, right? And I think because you all are now on the ground, right? You all are the ones who will be able to see what is lacking, right? Because sometimes those who are in the management may not really see it up front. So your role now as budding specialists, and you are all already leaders in your own way. But the minute you all qualify as specialists, then you will need to give input. Okay, Tan Sri is back.
I'm back. I got my water.
Okay, Tan Sri, yeah, all right, yes.
Next time I remember to bring my glass. Okay, we go back to Maya Angelou because she writes very nice poems. And so she asks, to know is to comprehend. Do you know? Do you comprehend at this moment who or what you serve? We must all be serving someone or something. Whom and what are you choosing to serve right now? It takes courage to ask this question of yourself. But without courage, you can't practice any other value consistently. So this is the question we always ask our students, right? When they come in, why are you here? Medical students masuk, then they tell us all this to get knowledge, do make money, give back to society, etc., etc., etc. Okay, be good citizen and so on. Why don't we turn this question and ask ourselves? You now, why are you here? You are now second year, but have you asked yourself, why are you here? What's your purpose? What's your responsibility? And what values do you offer to the patients, to their families, to government, to business, to the profession, to society? What do you offer to them? Have you thought about this? You know, the end result of whether we lead as doctors strongly ties to how we start. I know you're second year, but you should have done this last year, right? What's your purpose when you came in? And how we carry out our responsibility. So you want to go to the right outcomes, yeah? You say, this is my purpose, you're driving yourself to that outcome. So you're starting. If you're starting, first, you must dispel the misconception that professional life is cozy 8 to 5 job. It's not. You know, that one you know. You must be willing to work hard. Accept and be skilled in balancing work, family, community, life obligations. So remember, you know, you don't just live in the ENT department or ophthalmology or pediatrics. No. You have to balance your life. And it's about work. Some of you already have families. Some are starting. But you all have families. Yeah. And you live in some community. You have obligations in this. You know, you go to masjid, for example, you have one community there. Yeah. You go to the temple, you go to church. Or it's just a community around you. Yeah. Or even your peer groups. But you are always a social person. Yeah. You are not alone by yourself. So you must know how to balance. Yeah. And importantly, your second year, learn how to teach, help, and mentor students, colleagues, and others. What do you call that? For success, yeah. You learn how to do this because doctor actually means teacher. Learn how to teach, because that's how you learn. You teach, you help others, you mentor others, you are improving yourself. Yeah. And then you remember when at the end of 4 years you get the degree, but that's not the end. We say end of 4 years, but it's the beginning of your life. Yeah. Beginning. It's not the end. And so once you get the degree, you must recognize your limitations. You must continue to learn. Sharpen the inquiry skills, problem solving, decision making, always to keep up to date, yeah, to be current. and obtain necessary credentials. It's not enough your master's degree, right? You need to be credentialed in procedures, etc., etc. Yeah, and so that you can be recognized as an expert, and not by saying I'm an expert, or by showing your degrees or your certificates. No, through your patient outcomes, through publications, through consultations and references given to you, and or maybe you attend conferences, you are invited. That's how you're recognized as experts, yeah, through the outcomes, yeah, not by you stating your credentials. Okay, so I told you is you have started last year. You're starting on a lifelong journey. It is not about how at the end of 4 years I'm now a specialist, happy. No. So when you're starting on lifelong journey like this, you always ask, you have always got to ask yourself these questions continually. Don't just at the start you ask, because life changes. You make a lot of changes along the way, you know. So you have to keep on saying, because some people make life-changing career change, you know. They can change from a neurosurgeon and become a psychiatrist. You can. I've got friends who have been like that, yeah. Or neurosurgeon become GP, yeah. So where am I going? Who am I bringing with me? Remember, I told you you're never alone. Why do you want to start this journey? Remember, I asked you, what's your purpose? What are you trying to solve? How am I going? Who should be, do I need to look at trailblazers? Who will be my idols, my icons? What do I need to bring with me if I study them? Do I need to go more, do a little bit more research? Do I know what are the pitfalls or obstacles on the way? Do I need expert help? I think a lot of us need that, right? And are there milestones to guide me? How do I know I've reached my destination? You don't, right? It's a lifelong journey. But for every step of the journey, you have little destinations. You need to have the milestones for that. So we are now talking about transformation from the little girl or boy who entered medical school. You're now becoming on your journey to a specialist, and after that a continuing education for more credentials, yeah. So we are transforming ourselves, yeah. There's a transformation going on, and a lot of the ideas come. We say, oh, think outside the box. We always think, yeah, think outside the box, but actually the real transformation is inside the box, yeah. What must change is inside the box, our conduct, what and how we deliver our offerings. Yeah, that's always remember. This is what looking inward is about. So it's about looking at our brain. You know this more than I. The heart, the left brain, the right brain, the hard skills on the left side, and speech, subject matter, you know, data, technical skill, maths, you know, they are all developed on the left side. On the right side are what we call the soft skills, yeah? Problem solving, collaboration, being curious, the creativity, the communication, storytelling. These are right brain skills. So learning is important for this transformation, for you to go on the leadership journey. Learning is a very important part or component of that journey. And John F. Kennedy said, leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. He is not wrong. But this learning is not just a matter of the mastery of knowledge. Remember, you all have your disciplines. Yeah? You have knowledge and practical skills in your discipline. But I told you, look at the left and right side. You need to balance both. Yeah. But the possession of the soft skills, you need to acquire and develop these, hone the skills, cognition, creativity, in thinking, problem solving, decision making. And when you make decisions, they must be based on values, ethics, and morality. Example, integrity, accountability come in. And you must know how to manage your resources well. And your resources are people, and this is where leadership comes in, money, your facilities that you have, and communication is very important. In fact, I think it's the most important for leadership, apart from having knowledge. And it's verbal, both verbal and emotive. Yeah, emotive, you know, understanding, respect. These are people skills. Respect, empathy, caring. You don't talk, you know, a lot of it is shown in body language. Of course, you can use words to communicate this, but it is seen more in your eyes, in your body language, how you touch people, you know. This is the emotive part. So these are soft skills. They are intangible. It's difficult to measure, you know. It's not like the knowledge. You give MCQs, you give essays, but these are things you need to observe over time. And people skills, social skills, personality skills that come from the right brain. Yeah. Okay. Now, looking at some research that has been done, what are the highly valued soft skills? These are the ones. So you can show all this, you are really good. Creativity, ability to persuade, to collaborate, and to adapt. Yeah, don't be so fixed, so rigid. Your ideas, you can't even move. You're always right. No, there's adaptability. Yeah, and time management. And I just want to say, because I like the right brain issues a lot. I like the right brain skills. Howard Gardner, he's an educationist in Harvard. He talks about the 5 minds for the future, 5 minds. He said the disciplined mind, synthesizing mind, the creating mind, the respectful mind, and the ethical mind. Yeah, we need all these 5 minds. If not, we will be overwhelmed by just information, you know, and we won't be able to succeed. It's unbalanced. So you need to balance the right and the left. So you need all these minds to make the judgment, yeah, for us to grow both personally and professionally. It's very interesting. It's in a book. It's called the Five Minds of the Future. For the future, if you have time to read Howard Gardner. Howard Gardner, he's got all these 7 intelligences and things like that he writes. Very interesting. And I just want to just remind you that when we talk about doctors, when we talk about learning and education for doctors, remember it's always 3 concepts are interrelated, yeah, and they move together. They are linked. They are linked. Education at all levels, yeah, starting at all levels, produce the talent pool for the research and practice. You produce a talent pool, yeah. And research, when you do research, you inform medical practice and education. You do research in both, yeah, through new ideas and technological advancements, yeah, and also practice. And practice, when you practice from your experience, you inform research and education. You identify the gaps and the needs for improvement in performance, yeah. And at the heart of it all will be the talent pool, which will be the doctors, yeah, you. And leadership means when you can combine all these 3 concepts together, you can produce the innovations that I talked about, yeah, the transformations. So and yourself, because of the way you have developed, you are self-critical. You can embrace change. You know, you don't want, you see change and you participate in it, and you keep current because you are participating in the change creatively, yeah, but always keep your focus on quality. Okay, so leadership. As you grow, as you develop in your discipline, remember all those soft skills I talked about, that you have to develop this side by side, yeah? Because no matter what you do, you will become leaders. And leadership occurs at all levels. You can be at the bottom and you can still be a leader in the area that you are in, yeah? Because collectively, you make up the critical mass to implement the organizational programs, yeah? If you're in a hospital, there's a hospital, but at your level, you are a leader. But your leadership there collectively make the hospital great, yeah? So you need to be a leader in this very volatile environment. Good governance in managing, yeah, in managing conflicts, internal crisis. That's what a leader is for, yeah, to break new grounds, yeah. So you need to learn how to grasp and articulate issues at hand, show confidence and interest. You inspire others. Because you are fired up, they also become fired up, yeah. The advice, guide, mentor, and you must be brave to take risks. And then you inspire confidence. Confidence, you know, when you say, I'm going to do it, then people will follow you, yeah? And you're determined to do it, yeah? That's what the leadership challenges are. Can you take the challenge? Okay, I use the word good governance. Good governance by the leadership at the highest professional standards. It means you as a leader, you must lead by example. You must create the professional working environments. Yeah, professional, you know, not based on cronies and all that. Yeah, professional working environment. Even you don't like that person, you must do it professionally. Professionally, you have to work with the person. Yeah, not sideline. Don't let the person come in and do the work. No, that's not. Number 2, collegiality in management and supervision. You must treat your people as your colleagues. Yeah, you must take responsibility for the team and actively manage the work performance. That's what collegiality is. Everybody's in it, but if you are seen to be the leader, you take responsibility for your team. But you have a team. Yeah, you're working as a team, as colleagues. Okay, the ethical mind means you carry out your duties in accordance with the organization's expectations of them. Not your expectation, not your mother's expectations, but the organizational expectations, the ethical mind, your duties. But of course, ethical mind in other situations, in the family and so on, then you go according to the family's expectations. Where you work will be the organization's expectations, yeah? You have to go by that, yeah, and not sideline, yeah. Ethical principles won't allow you to do that. You must have real policies, strong policies, clear, transparent for risk management, known and complied by the staff, yeah. Because there are lots of things people want to take risks to do, no, but you must have policies, what to do in what situation, yeah. And if not, it becomes haywire. Everybody go their own way, you know, and there's some integrity issues involved in this. And of course, accountability will be reporting. Make sure you have professional reporting, internal reporting, so that can detect, you know, early problems, so that you can make continuous improvement to your organization. These are some of the governance issues when you're already a leader at some level in your organization. So I use the term leadership by example. And I want to quote my favorite poet, Ralph Waldo Emerson. I think some of you have heard some of his poems that I have quoted, you know. Our chief wants, main wants, not chief as boss. Our chief wants is someone who will inspire us to be what we know we could be. So role models, you know, leadership by example is to be a role model to someone, because that's what other people want. You know, they want somebody to inspire them. They know what they could do, but they need that inspiration. Yeah. So by how do you show leadership? You know, it's okay, you show you have the knowledge, but that's not all. Yeah. self-aware, you show respect. The conversation is very respectful and empathy, yeah. Very accountable, and you welcome assessment by others. You take feedback. You don't get angry when they give you feedback, yeah. And always you will treat others the way you want to be treated. You're treating people, and if that's not what you like other people to do to you, then don't do it. Don't do it, yeah. So, and always keep them informed so that they know what's coming, what's to be done. And when you execute your policies, you must be fair. Don't give A to Ali and B to Mina. No, cannot. Yeah. It happens, right? That's why we have gender disparity. If somebody is dishonest, you must take swift action. You must not tolerate dishonesty. Yeah. Because and also integrity breaches, not just dishonesty, sometimes little things they do, like the records, they make changes in the record after the date, because you will not be leading by example. You think they may not like you, but actually they will respect you for doing that, yeah. Because one person is doing it, but there will be 10 others looking, and that 10 others want to know what you're going to do. So it's very important. And when they do good work, please reward creativity and value creating work for the people in your team, yeah. I always say, you want to criticize, sandwich the criticism with 2 layers of praise. Yeah, there should be more praises than criticism. So you must adhere to laws. A lot of people are breaking laws, here. I see, laws are being broken everywhere. Institutional policies, procedures, don't cut corners, don't break rules, yeah. Work when you are supposed to. Don't gossip, go snacking, go surfing on the internet, or make personal phone calls, yeah. Show up on time every time, because everybody is watching you. Do what you say you will do. Keep all your promises. And if you can't, explain why you can't, yeah. And when you make a decision, make sure everybody has said their piece. Everything is already on the table, so to speak. Nothing is left out. Then make a decision. Everybody has said something, yeah. So that's leading by example. And collegiality in management is to take responsibility for the team. I told you that, yeah. And when there are integrity breaches, detect it early and take action, yeah. Don't cover up bad news, but actually provide new solutions. When you have a problem, don't put it under the carpet, address it, yeah. And if your team make a mistake, you get messed up, you don't have the deadline, own up to their mistake, yeah. And then do not let teammates take the fall, or let someone else take the blame for something they did. Collegiality is collective, huh? And if you take that mistake that they do and tell them, hey, hello, this is an opportunity for improvement. You learn more from your mistakes and failures, right? That's how you learn. And do not accept praise or acclaim for someone else's work. Oh, I see this all the time. I get very annoyed. And they call themselves leaders. And always build the team, build the trust, and show integrity. Together, you must build your team. And only when you do that, things like this, you can build up a very strong team, yeah? And all of you are working in teams. Doctors, specialists, always work in a team. So this is very important for you, yeah? Don't just jump at the nurse or something like that, don't go to the junior doctor, and kick them. And it's you are the one, yeah? Take responsibility for the team. Okay, let's see what are some of the personal attributes that we would like to see. Integrity and ethics, regard for others and their work. You honestly earn the achievements, you stand on your own merit and serve as a role model to instill values in colleagues. And this, you know, I listed some, that's not all. Respect, responsibility, trustworthiness, self-regulation and discipline, yeah? Fairness, caring, and you always follow the highest professional standards. How about social skills? I told you social skills are important, right? Because you're working in a team. So there's this genuine desire to contribute to colleagues, to the institution and society. It's not fake, yeah? You really want to contribute. And if you have not felt that, the desire to contribute, please somehow develop this fire in you, you know? You need to have this passion and perseverance to pursue the goals, not of your own goals only, of the organization and of society, yeah? And willing to delay gratification. Don't have to give rewards immediately, yeah? And you volunteer. You're very sincere about that. And when there are setbacks, you are quite resilient. And when there are distractions, you can still focus and you can tune out all the distractions. These are some of the social skills. Communication, I told you, you know, verbal and non-verbal. It can be written and it's also interpersonal. Eh? You know, they say, no, this is not a doctor. No, you take history, right? Good storyteller. Simple, entertaining, captivating, enthusiastic. You know, when you talk like a storyteller. You know, no monotone, you know, very uninspiring. Yeah. And so when you do it like that, in a very lively storytelling way, you inspire others, you know, become a role model, you know. And even inside and outside the institution, your interpersonal skills with the colleagues, they don't change. They remain the same, yeah. You're always a team player, and people who are going to be leaders always have good networks, locally, nationally, and internationally. You must build this because you need to have a global outlook. You cannot be a leader in your own area, even in your discipline, or leader of an institution or of a department. You don't have that global outlook. Yeah, in today's world, borderless world, you cannot. So you have to be IT savvy, yeah, in your communication. So we are all working with others all the time. And like Walt Disney said, of all the things I've done, the most vital is coordinating the talents of those who work for us and pointing them towards a certain goal. So remember, he is always about the people. Working with others is working with people, and it's about getting them on board with you. You have some goals or even common goals, and you want these talents to come together to work towards that goal. Yeah. And when you do that, you remember, you know, we all have fears, but keep your fears to yourself, but share your inspiration with others. Now, I have some notes on integrity I want to follow, you know, because these are all these soft skills people forget, you know. That's why I don't go into your area, discipline and all that, know how to learn. No, because that, you know, I want you to really focus for leadership on the brain, the right side, yeah. Integrity is so important in medicine. It's following your moral and ethical convictions and doing the right thing in all circumstances. Even when no one is watching you, you're doing it. So you're not putting on a show, yeah. That's integrity. It involves moral judgment, your character, which should have been built from childhood, honesty, respect for privacy, confidentiality, and all the leadership values that I listed. Yeah? You must understand what is right, what is wrong, and practice in all they do. The ethical mind, yeah? True to themselves and would do nothing that demean or dishonor them. So that's being the integrity. Yeah. Now I come to caring because I think you all are caring, but maybe you don't show. It's the heart of the therapeutic relationship. A receptive practitioner listens with empathy and compassion. Sometimes you appear to listen, but we don't see it in the eyes, yeah, he's listening, but where his eyes far away look, or he's thinking about something else, There's that non-verbal, the emotive part is not there. Yeah. Then if you are really a caring doctor, you transform your feelings, into action. A lot of it has to do with eye contact, touching, yeah, even words, words to say it's all right, and you identify. Sometimes we don't do this. We cannot care for our patients because we've got our blind spots, and we don't identify it. Oh, we've got some frustration, we've got some anger, some prejudice issues within us. And we are now interacting with the patient, but these things are disturbing us, so we cannot show caring. We cannot care for the patients. There's no caringness. Yeah, you need to identify and overcome this first. Yeah, a lot with COVID. There's a lot of frustration and anger. How are you going to care for your patients? And a lot of the patients are on ventilators on top of that, and you can't even talk to their families. You're so angry, you're so frustrated. You need to identify these blind spots because you may lash out on your colleagues. Yeah, so the caring doctor, it's not just about to the patient, but also to your colleagues, your friends. Yeah, it's the heart of a therapeutic relationship. If you cannot show this caring, you cannot have a therapeutic relationship. Excuse me. Okay, I've seen this so many times. That's why I put it in red. Bad news, You're the specialist. You're the top person. This is your patient. Breaking bad news or communicating with families, sometimes you leave it to the junior doctors and nurses. Never. You have to do it, and you are not equipped to do it. You develop these skills, please. You need to develop these skills. Yeah. Now I'm going to come to the end of the session. I'm going to leave you with some quotes about leadership. It's the art of getting someone else to do something you want done, but he thinks he wants to do it. Okay. And general pattern: don't tell people how to do things. Tell them what to do and let them surprise you with the results. Of course, sometimes I understand you need to tell, like in surgery, you need to tell them the procedures. But how do innovations come about, even in surgical practice? Because you allow people to adjust, make innovations, and then they can surprise you. That's how it comes about. It could be a new equipment, it could be a new technique. Yeah. Don't always tell people how to do. You must allow them some leeway to innovate. And when it comes to the principles and moral and ethics and values, Jefferson said, in matters of style, swim with the current. That means you become resilient. As the current goes, you can swim. You can swim, yeah? You can adjust. But in matters of principle, stand like a rock. You don't move. Yeah. And I like Jesse Jackson. He said, this is the very soft leader. Yeah, the soft side of the leader, which must be very nice. Okay. They're tough. Leaders must be tough enough to fight, tender enough to, this is highlighting the emotion. Yeah. Tender enough to cry, human enough to make mistakes, humble enough to admit them, strong enough to absorb the pain, and resilient enough to bounce back and keep on moving. This is the emotive part of being a leader. Doesn't mean you cannot cry, no, you can cry. Yeah, you can cry. And Jack Welch, of course, said, before, this going back to my earlier, what I said, yeah, you need to mentor, remember, teach others. Before you're a leader, success is about growing yourself. But when you become a leader, success is about growing others. Okay. Yeah, some more. Yes, leadership is action, not position. People forget. They think they are in a certain position, head of department ke, dean ke, VC ke, deputy VC. Oh, they think they are leaders. No, leadership is action. Yeah. And Indira Gandhi, I like this. She said, my grandfather once told me that there were two kinds of people, those who do the work and those who take credit. So he told me, try to be in the first group. There was much less competition there. So, you know, a lot of people try to take credit for others, what others do. Yeah. And Colin Powell said, great leaders are almost always great simplifiers who can cut through argument, debate, and doubt to offer a solution everybody can understand. Yeah? And too often we underestimate the power of touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring. Remember, caring, the caring doctor, therapeutic relationship. And in the past, a leader was a boss. Today's leaders must be partners with their people. They no longer can lead solely based on positional power. If you want, you can do, but nobody likes you. Okay, what is a boss and what's a leader? A boss creates fear. A leader, confidence. A boss fixes blame. A leader corrects mistakes. A boss knows all. A leader asks questions. A boss makes work drudgery. A leader makes it interesting. A boss is interested in himself or herself. The leader is interested in the group. That's the difference. And to accomplish great things, as Alexander Graham Bell said, we must not only act, we must also dream, you know, that vision. Not only plan, but we must also believe that we can do. So you see, it's not about the mind, the brain, the thinking part, the hard part, but it's also the soft part, you know, the belief, the dream, you know, that you want to go, that you want to achieve something. I'm coming to the end, and my advice to you is take pride in how far you've come. You know, you've been a medical student, the first year, second year, now as a postgrad. Have faith in how far you can go. Do not be afraid to explore new paths and leave new trails. Right? I told you the story, the surgeon can arah you, you know, tell you must do it this way. But how do we get new techniques and new methods? Because somebody dare to go on a new path and a new trail. Yeah. And always remember, you're always bringing somebody along with you. You're always with somebody. Yeah. So don't forget to enjoy the journey with your friends, your colleagues, your family. Understand each other and work together at the highest professional standards to fill your lives with rich experiences. Remember experiences, not things. Don't fill your life with things like, oh, a scarf or a necklace or something. No, you want to tell stories of your journey, yeah, not to show stuff that you have collected. And we advance on our journey only when we face our goal. We know what is our purpose, and then we are confident and we believe we are going to succeed. That's very important. Yeah. So I end with a prayer. God, please grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thank you very much. Now we can have a conversation.